Hi, good afternoon. Philip Dodson here, doing my walk and talk. Walk and talk is a series of, where I walk and I talk. Haven't done the walk and talk for a little while. I've been away on holiday and also tied up with one or two other things, principally the International Collaboration Day project, which I'm involved in, which is a global event day that celebrates or promotes co-working, collaboration, sharing economy, and many other things. So what did I want to talk about today? So I'm out in the streets today because there's a tube strike today, and I did a video just recently about why we should support the tube strike, so you can see that on my YouTube channel. Probably slightly controversial view to most, but it's good to think differently and be different. So what I want to talk about today is, interestingly, how we see the world and how some things just haven't moved on. I was having a conversation yesterday with someone about education and stuff and teaching and things like that, and my wife happens to be a teacher as well. And someone was saying, oh, you know, there was these teachers being interviewed, and God, they didn't have a clue about geography. God, what hope have we got for the generation? They didn't know where placed. I think they were on some quiz show on telly. So what hope have we got if teachers don't know where so-and-so is? I'm just thinking, well, my response to that is, well, we have the internet. Now some people might say, well, it's terrible, you know, we need to know everything, but we don't need to know everything. You see, the world has changed. When we were in the dim and distant past, thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, man was living in a cave, or human beings were living in a cave, and their priority wasn't to know where Sheffield was, or where the source of the River Nile was, or how big the Amazon jungle was, because they didn't even know where those were. Their priority was to get food, stay warm, you know, build a fire, go out and hunt, and whatever they needed to do to survive, right? You could then fast forward to Roman times, and there would have been different priorities, etc., etc. So every age, every generation, everything has their own priorities, and there's no right or wrong in this. So if we move into today's world, which is a digital world, it really doesn't make a lot of sense at school or anywhere else to be spending oodles of time learning place names. And, you know, I can remember at school learning what all the states of America were. Lovely. And, you know, where the source of the River Nile is, or things like that. And that brings me into other things that we learn at school. For example, we learn Pythagoras. I did actually meet one person once in my 48 years of life that actually uses Pythagoras. But other than that, most of us never ever use it. We talk algebra. Now, a few people who become scientists or things like that probably need algebra, or complicated mathematicians, but the vast majority don't need algebra. So there's many, many things that we're still taught today that have no relevance to the life that we live in. You know, for example, now in the US, I think it's something like 40% of people are freelance, self-employed, no longer on somebody else's payroll. Probably fairly similar figures here in Europe. I wonder how many schools there are teaching people how to become self-employed, because that's the future for the vast majority of us. So are they taught how to build their own website? Are they taught how to use social media effectively? Are they taught how to even set up a business, how to open a bank account? All these kind of things that most of us are going to have to do when we leave school. So I think the thing is that we all need to start thinking differently and approaching things differently in how we're educating our future generations. And we need to stop thinking in the past. We need to stop thinking about how things have always been or how they used to be, because that's another thing that quite often people say to me, well, it's always been that way, Philip, you know, that's the way it is. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. Things have moved on, things are evolving. We're now entering a time and space as human race, as a humankind, that's never been experienced before. We're creating new technologies, we're inventing new things, we're doing new things that have never ever been done before. So just because something has always been a certain way doesn't mean it has to still be that way. So my point today is, it's time to move on, it's time to think differently, it's time to live differently, work differently, be different, because what's always been is no longer relevant now, and it doesn't work anymore. We are in a totally different world, a totally different age, and we need to start doing things completely differently. Anyway, that's it for today's walk and talk. If you want to watch more of my walk and talks, I have a YouTube channel, Philip Dodson. I also blog regularly on Dodson.wordpress.com. And if you want to find out more of these, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for listening.